2 words, Pastor Maldonado. That should give you a pretty decent clue of what we're doing in this video here today, if you haven't already realised by the title and thumbnail. We are taking on Pastor's pole lap from the 2012 Spanish Grand Prix. A race weekend, a race which is still spoken about to this very day, almost 13 years later. It was an absolutely incredible weekend for Formula 1 and an incredible achievement, and it ended up being a complete one-off which never got repeated. So, let's talk about it. Pastor Maldonado won the race, the Spanish Grand Prix. It was actually Williams, and still is actually Williams' final win in Formula 1 13 years back. They haven't won a race since, but also Pastor unofficially got pole. It was actually Hamilton who went quickest with a 121.7, but he got disqualified after qualifying after not being able to provide a fuel sample to the FIA, thus promoting Pastor Maldonado, who, albeit half a second off in second place, got promoted a P1 and started the race from first place ahead of Alonso, and of course battled him all the way through the Grand Prix to come out on top. So it was a freak weekend, a freak performance. The Williams, of course, wasn't that great of a car, but it all just sort of came together for them. And in that epic season where I think we had like 7 different winners in the first 7 races or something like that. So yeah, definitely one for the history books. Anyway, we're going to get today's episode started and we're going to get underway with our first lap of the day. So currently we have the car in default settings. I'm going to just push the brake bias back a little bit. We have KERS and DRS available. Now, I can't remember if they use DRS everywhere throughout the lap. I don't think they did. I think it was only on the DRS zones, but I could be wrong, so feel free to correct me on that. Either way, just trying to get a baseline on the board at the moment as the car is snapping away everywhere on these medium tyres. A little bit wide through turn 5. Using some of the KERS on the way out of there as we head into 7 and 8. Car falls okay, better than I thought, but still pretty passive. Turn 9, had to take a big lift there as we open DRS again. And of course we've got the old hairpin, so really scrubbing off the speed through here. Easy on the traction through the little kink into the long right. We also have the old chicane at the end of the lap here, which nobody likes, let's be honest. This is going to be a real make or break for our laps today, I think. Oh, big snap on the way out. Use the rest of the KERS to the line. DRS, 126.6. Right. So 4.4 seconds to be found. That's a good starting point. Let's get to it. Now let's start off with adjustments on the setup. First off, gearbox, final ratio dropped by a click, so lower top speed, but that should be fine around here. Tyres, we're going to go for the softs now, so I believe this was the softest compound available, so we can't go any softer than this, so this is pretty much it. The fuel was on 23, I've dropped it to 15 litres. Electronics, 5 out of 13, I've upped it by 2 clicks, a bit more engine braking is something I like. I've upped the front wing by a click, I've lowered the rear wing by 1, so they're now all level on 18. And then we've kept the rest default, brake bias 53, and then elsewhere I've basically dropped the ride heights a little bit, dropped the roll bars, and upped the wheel rates a little. So let's see how this goes. Right, delta bar, ready to go. I also forgot to mention we've upped the tyre pressures by a click, just because we're on softer compound, so just want to make sure we don't overheat if possible. The track is very bumpy with this car, which is something I find interesting. Anyway, let's get to work and let's see how we get on. Top speed perfect. Maybe could extend the 7th gear by a click on its own. Alright, nice, come on, turn 3, flat out, give it to me, there it is. Alright, good start. Turn 4, stay tight, and then just open it up on the way out and be careful. Turn 5, much more rearward brake bias, taking a short shift on the way out, that's going to help a lot. First use of KERS. Through the 7-8 chicane. Car is very on the nose. between gears, 5th and 6th. Couldn't quite decide. Into the hairpin we go. A bit wide of the apex, but we broke reasonably late. 2 seconds up, not a bad improvement actually. Still got a bit to go, although we're getting loose all over the place here. Into the last chicane, finding even more time. Very delicate there, getting the traction out the last corner. Up to the line, it's a good improvement. 24.0. Still leaves us a way away from Pastor's time, 1.8 seconds off, but that's a good step. Although to be fair, there's not a ton more because we're already on the softest compound and the fuel was already low from the beginning at 23 litres and we're now on 15, so there's not much more we can really do. Anyway, more tweaks, more adjustments. We'll hopefully push a bit more on the next one as well and use curves at the start of the lap out the last corner. Now, I've left the gearbox unchanged and you'll see why in just a second. Tyres I've also left unchanged. Fuel, we're now on single lap fuel, so approx 13 litres, so 2 litres less out of the car. Electronics, I'm going to up the engine brake by 1 more click. Could go 2, but I'm going to go 1 more and see how that feels. Aero, I've actually upped the front wing by a click, so that's why I've left the fuel the same, because the estimate should go lower. And also the gearbox, we should hit 7th perfectly now with a bit more downforce, so that should all work out nicely. Alignment, I've now pushed the camber and the toe on the front to the left, and on the rear I've pushed them both to the right. Again, stable rear, aggressive front. Dampers for now unchanged. Brake bars I've actually gone up to 54. I want to see if I can try and brake later without locking the rears. I've taken a bit of the sting out of the brakes by 59 brake pressure, and then also elsewhere heave dampers unchanged. I've also lowered the roll bars again. I've upped the wheel rate on the front, and I've also lowered the ride heights a touch more. So let's see how this goes. The car feels pretty nervous, so that could be a good thing or a bad thing. If we can tame it, it'll be a good one. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm going to try a few different things as we get the lap underway. Let's use curves out the last corner to start the lap. Right then, here we go. Turn 1. This is going to be the first stop. Car does not like the curbs in general around here. No, we're loose. We're loose. We're loose. Oh. Didn't like how that felt, but I might try again. Right then, we'll go again. I've actually put the brake bias on 56. Just want to see how that feels. Right, come on, let's try and push. We know that curb on the left isn't our friend. Turn 1, turn 2, looking okay so far. I'm not going to go flat through 3. I'm going to lift a little and just take a shorter line, use a bit of curves. Turn 4, holding it in 4th gear for a change, so we get a better exit. Oh, turn 5, we're well deep, well wide. Keeping it in 3rd gear so we can get a better exit. Now through 7 and 8, through the chicane, again using 4th, a higher gear. Oh, 6th did not work through there. That was a lot of understeer. Oh, big lock up. Okay, this is a very scruffy lap, this one. Let me just see if there's any more time anywhere that's like glaringly obvious, because we could be in the trenches here already. Using 4th through there. That's pretty decent, but we're not exactly finding time here. Going to try 3rd through this last bit. Okay, there's a little bit there. Couple of tenths in the last chicane if we get our gearing sorted out, but not as much time as I thought on the lap. Back to the drawing board. Now, to be fair, more of the same. I'm basically experimenting now, so gearbox, I've kind of dabbled with all the gears a little bit in terms of their ratios. Tyres, I've also lowered the front pressure by a click on both. Fuel, I've gone down by an extra litre to see if we can make that work. Engine brake, up a click as well. I've added a bit of rear wing for stability, and then elsewhere I've basically just made minor tweaks. Dampers I'm not going to change. Brake bars 56. Also, I've also tweaked the roll bars and the ride heights again, so just trying to find that balance really. So let's see if this works. I think crucially the gearing should work a lot better now, the gearbox that I've put in place. We should get the gears and drive that I'm looking for. So here we go. Underweight, using curves from the get-go. We've got a longer gearbox, so we can use the extra bit of curves boost out the last corner and not max out. Turn 1, trying to take a wider entry. That worked well. Nice. Good start so far. Come on. Back end trying to come around there a few times. Had to correct there for turn 5. Not exactly ideal. Didn't lose too much time though. Through 7 and 8. Good response on the car. This time we'll keep it in 5th. Got a slightly longer gear to make that work. Decent through the hairpin. Didn't get all the apex, but carried good speed the entire way through. And now turn 12. We know there's a bit of time through these last few corners. A little bit wide for that first apex. Accelerating in 3rd, using all the curves. It's a good improvement, to be fair. 23.3. Not bad. That leaves us just about a second off. I think it's going to be tricky to beat the time, I'll be honest. That's a good improvement though, and that was actually a really good lap. There's a little bit of time, turn 4, turn 5, as you saw with the small errors, but that was actually a very good effort. So unless I find something special with the setup, there might be like a high 22 there. Okay. A little bit more time there, 23.0. I went up on the wings in general. That actually worked pretty well, to be fair. That could also be the lap. It was pretty damn good. I think this is going to be the setup now. If I readjust the gearbox for higher wings, that should do the trick. So, let's see. Okay. 22.5. I'm surprised, actually. That was way quicker than I thought. I will admit, though, that was essentially a perfect lap for what we've done today. That could be hard to beat. Really hard to beat, because I don't know where I'd find time there, to be honest. We pretty much gained everywhere. So, yeah, 3 purple sectors kind of also confirmed it. So, tricky. Forgot to open DRS. Oh, front lock up there. Pushing the brake bias a bit too much. Nah. Nope. Tried a few things, but I think it's possible, you know. I think it's possible. It's going to be close. Really close. I think this is the setup. I'm not going to change anything. I've just got to try and put it together. We're literally 2 tenths away. 0.285 is the time we're looking for. So, oh, damn. It's close. Yes, what a lap. Ho ho. It was in there. It was in there. Come on. Wow, that's a great one. I really enjoyed that. That's one of the best episodes of the series. Really, really fun. I had to push that on the limit everywhere, but we got it in the end. Now the final configuration, you guys can pause the video and get the exact details, but this was the gearbox. I messed around with every single gear pretty much, so feel free to copy. Tyres, we ran asymmetrical pressures to the front right and the rear left. Fuel, 12 litres. Engine brake on 8. Aero 20 across the board, and then also messed around with the camber and toe front and rear, so copy at your own expense. Dampers were unchanged in this one. 58 bias, 98 brake power, heave dampers also unchanged. Suspensions again copy, everything on screen. Minimum rear roll bar, also lower the front roll bar a lot by the way in that one, which is quite rare. Suspension advanced also default. Well, there we go guys, that was a really awesome episode, really enjoyed that one, especially just pushing to the limit. The gearing for me, the gearbox, that was the critical element in that one. Anyway, I'll leave the car link down below guys. The track is actually default, it's a DLC for Assetto Corsa, so check that out in the Steam store. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like on the video. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes guys, absolutely critical that we get that target. It really helps the video in the algorithm, so please do like the video, subscribe for more daily content guys, and we'll see what's next on the channel. Either way, a massive shout out to my members of the channel for supporting all the content that I make. Also, finally check out the 2 videos on screen for more content like this that you might enjoy, and I do recommend you guys give it a watch. But anyway, cheers for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.